Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and welcome to this video. My name's James, or a lot of you might know me as LumoJames, and I'm the project leader here at Fly Lumo. And essentially what this video is going to be is it's going to be a really quick, really simple get started guide for anyone who wants to jump into the virtual airline and just wants to get going with the tracker and get logging their flights with us. So first of all, we'll cover everything from signing up, we'll cover everything from VA base, how to dispatch a flight, and then how to finalize them at the end. So, the first thing that you'll need to do for anybody wanting to join Fly Lumo is head over to our website. So, our website is flylumo.co.uk, okay? And that is where you want to be heading over to. When you come to our homepage, this is what you're going to be greeted with. You'll be able to see some lovely photos. You've got the stats from the current month and our total stats. You've got our current live flight map, so you can see where some of our pilots are currently flying. And we can see Ether's currently on a flight from London Gatwick in the A310. And you can track that on there. You can see what's in progress. You can also see our latest flights, top landings, and latest members. So, if you want to sign up, then you want to head over to the sign up button. And you simply want to fill in the form. So if I was going to sign up, I'll just sign up as LumoJames as an example. So LumoJames, but you're putting your first name and your last name. You can put in an email. I will put in... there we go. Select a location of residence, so you can tell us whereabouts in the world that you are, which is really cool to see the international community. So I'm in the UK, so I'll pop that. Your VATSIM ID you can pop in, or you can leave it blank. I'll just leave it blank for now, and the same with your IVO ID. So what VATSIM and IVO are, they're online networks that you can fly with if you choose to. And like I say, if you have a VATSIM ID or an IVO ID, you can pop that in. If you don't, that's totally fine, and you can always add it later if you decide to join those networks. So requested base, what we do here is as part of Fly Lumo, we have some kind of base airports, which are kind of like our home airports. And you can pick one to start at. Now, this doesn't have any bearing on where your first flight can be. You can fly absolutely anywhere. This is purely just kind of your home airport that we ask you to pick when you sign up. At the moment, we have some available in the UK and some available in the United States. So you can, with more hubs being added soon. So simply pick a hub that you'd like to do. My nearest airport to me is Newcastle, so that's the one that I'm going to pick. You then want to set a password. Just be aware of the password criteria. It must have an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and be 8 characters or more. So I'm just going to put in a password that meets those. About you, that's really up to you what you put in here. You don't have to put anything at all in. Or if you want to tell us a little bit about you, you can. So you could be like, hey, I am 22 years old. I love flying, like you put in your favorite aircraft, so the Boeing 738 or the A320, and I currently work on the railway in the UK. You can put anything you like here. Tell us a bit about yourself, your hobbies, you know, if you're LGBT, if you have any kind of cool other games that you play, absolutely anything you like, you can pop that in here. Anything you're willing to share, as this is all public. Your date of birth is obviously private. You do need to put your date of birth in just to let us know what that is. So 21st of the 3rd, 2000 is my date of birth. Again, nobody sees the kind of sensitive information. So nobody will see your email address, not even me. And your date of birth will only be seen at registration just so we can prove how old you are. And then finally, Flight Sim version. Just let us know what Flight Sim versions you use. So if you use Microsoft Flight Sim, if you use X-Plane 11, those are the two that I mainly use. But any Flight Sim versions that you use, just pop them in there. Again, it's mostly for me just to know what you guys are flying with so that I can tailor the experience to your needs. When you finish, you want to click Submit Application. It'll take a few seconds and then you'll get this message, which is your application's been submitted. Please wait for a member of staff to approve your application. Now, it's me who approves all the applications, and I do that as quickly as I can through the staff dashboard of Fly Lumo, okay? Now, I get a notification when you sign up, so I should have had an email right now, and I do. I've just had an email that somebody called LumoJames has signed up for the airline, so I can go approve that now. Now, I'm usually quite quick with these when I'm awake, and I usually approve people within about the hour. But obviously, I am a human being. I have work. I do sleep. So sometimes it might take a little bit longer, okay? But please just bear with us, and we'll get that done as soon as we can. So when I go and approve you, essentially, I log into the admin panel, which I'm just doing really quickly now. I go into human resources, and I can see that there's a new pilot. So all I'm doing is just checking that all the details are correct and everything's fine. That's just loaded up there. And now I just need to set an ID and then approve application. And what I've just done now is I've just approved essentially myself to join. So this would be me approving you. Once I've done that, you will get an email, okay? And that email will tell you that you've been approved, and it'll also contain your pilot ID, which you'll need a little bit later on. Don't worry, however, the pilot ID can also be found in your crew center, which again, I'll show you. So, once you've then been approved and had your email saying that your account is approved, then you are fully ready to go. So what you want to do is head over to Crew Center and you want to log in with the email and password that you used at registration. So we can sign in as LumoJames at protonmail.com is what we used to sign up. And then put in our password from earlier. And then, because you've been approved, you're in. And here is your brand new account. So what you can see here is it'll say hello your name, so hello Lumo. Your pilot ID can be found here, which is important for the tracker later on. You can see your rank as a new pilot, your base airport, the total amount of hours that you've flown with us, and your total experience points. Your wallet balance, which is just the virtual currency that you get paid for every mile that you fly. Your best landing rate will show here once you've done some flights, and then your virtual location. So that's what's on your dashboard. So this is you all signed up. Now, the next thing that you need to do any flying is you're going to need to install the VA-based tracker. So to do that, you need to find it in our download section. So to download that, you want to go up to here, which will say your name. Click down and then head down in the list to downloads. When you get here, there's loads of downloads for you. You can download our operations and our membership handbook, which contains all the kind of rules and regulations. Don't worry, they're pretty relaxed. We also have liveries for the Zebo Mod 737 for X-Plane, and we have liveries for the PMDG 737 and the Phoenix A320 for Microsoft Flight Sim, which you can download for free there as well, and also a Phoenix A320 checklist. More documents will be added, but this is what's here at the time of recording. To download the ACARS then, what you need to do is you'll need to download ACARS using this button here. But first, can I just stress that you will need either XUIPC or FSUIPC. And the reason that you'll need them is those are essentially the kind of linking components that talk to the tracker. So a lot of these you need for a lot of add-ons anyway, so you may already have these. But if you don't think you have them, there's no harm in downloading them. So if you are an X-Plane user, you just want to click here and it'll take you to... It'll take you to the link for XUIPC. If you're a Flight Sim user, then you just want to click here for Microsoft Flight Sim or anything else. For FSX SE, FSX, Microsoft Flight Sim or P3D. So you just want to download the latest version. It'll tell you which one. So this one's for Microsoft Flight Sim. That's for Propel 3J. You've got Wide FS7, all there. So you just want to download that. That'll install. Just follow the steps when that installs. So if I open that up, you'll just want to run the install FSUIPC 7 application. I'm not going to run it because I've already got it on my computer, but that is what you need to do. Okay? So once you've got that all installed, then it's time to download our tracker so that you can track your flights. Okay? You'll only be able to do this if you're on a Microsoft PC, and it'll only work if you're running Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim, Prepare 3D, FSX, FSX Steam Edition, X-Plane 10, 11 or 12, and if anyone's still using Flight Simulator 2004, we support that as well. So to do that, you want to hit download ACARS, and it's going to take you to this page, and you simply just want to click install. What it'll do, it'll take a couple of seconds, and then it should start installing that for us, and it's going to pick where you want to put it. So we're going to install that, and I deleted mine this morning, so I can set it up with you. So you want to go find where that file is, and you want to double click it, and that will get the installation going. I don't think I clicked mine properly, so I'm just going to go click it again. Downloads, double click setup. Now you are going to get this warning, and it'll say Windows protected your PC, and it prevented an unrecognized app from starting, okay? If you get this, don't worry, it's just because FlyLumo's so new, that the software's so new, and Windows is a little bit scared. But it's absolutely fine. See, unknown publisher, it's just because it doesn't know who we are. So, you want to click run anyway, and then that'll start the installation process. So, it's going to ask you simply, publisher copy verified, are you sure? You want to click install, and then it's going to run this really quick installation wizard, which gets it onto your PC. So, application is installed, you can activate the application from the start menu. So, head down, you want to type in VA Base into your search, VA Base ACARS is the app, and you want to start that. Again, it might pop up the first couple of times saying that it doesn't know who the publisher is. That's totally fine. Click run anyway. Click yes. and you'll get the application. Okay? So, what you need to do at login is you need to put in 3 bits of information, okay? You need your pilot ID, which you can find from clicking your name, dashboard, and then it's in the top here. So you can find your pilot ID and pop it in there. Then you need to put in the email address that you used at registration, and you need to put in your password, okay? So we're just going to do that. So I'll not use the ones that I usually use for flying. I'll use this test account. So LumoJet9999. The email that we used was LumoJames@protonmail.com, and the password. So if you click login, then that'll bring you to the kind of home screen for VA Base. Okay? So that's you kind of all set up and ready to hop into the flight simulator. Okay? The last thing you want to do is you want to either dispatch a flight from SimBrief or book a flight. So, I'm going to show you how to do it for people who don't have SimBrief. Essentially, if you do have SimBrief, we'll cover that in a different video. But if you have SimBrief, what you do at this point is just head into your browser, go ahead and dispatch your SimBrief plan as you normally would. And then once it's dispatched, you can click from SimBrief. And when you do that, it'll load in the last thing from SimBrief. So the last thing that we did on SimBrief was this flight over to Heathrow, alternate of Manchester, and it's brought all the information in for us. And then all you would do is just click start flight. Okay? What we're going to do is we're just going to close it because we want to get rid of that information and bring it back up. Say yes to that and log in. So now I'm going to show you what to do. If you don't use SimBrief at all and you're brand new to flight sim, we've got you covered. Okay? So all you need to do before you go flying is to simply book a flight. How you do that in the system, so before you get into the flight sim, is you need to go and select which flight you're going to do. So to do that, you'd go to the Operations Center in the top, and then you would come down to Route Map or Schedule. Route Map is a little bit easier to read. So what you've got here is all the different destinations that FlyLumo flies to and from. Now at the moment, we currently only have our European schedule in, but I've got the brilliant Ether and the brilliant Mike working on routes for the rest of the world, and also Mike's looking at the US, kind of focused on there. So there'll be loads more routes probably the next time you log in. But when you come in, all these destinations you can either fly to or from, depending on the schedule. So all you need to do is select where you want to start from. So today we're going to start from Newcastle, so we click Newcastle on the map. Now you can see dashed lines that show you every single place that we fly to from Newcastle. So we fly to loads of different European destinations currently in the winter, and below it it'll have a list of them all with the ICAO codes, which are the identifiers. So if you want to go from Newcastle to Alicante, it's EGNT to Lille. So we just need to find that down here. So if we go EGNT, and then we're looking for Lille on this side. So let's have a little look. And there we go. So Newcastle to Lille, which is Alicante, and there's all the information for the flight there. LumoJet 135 November is the call sign, so you just want to click that. This then brings up the flight information just to confirm it. So Newcastle to Alicante. It gives you some departure and arrival times, but they're just for show. You don't have to follow them. It gives you an approximate flight time of 3 hours and 5 minutes. Tells you what days we operate them, but again, you can fly any flight any day. All you need to do to book this flight, and you can look at the map just to confirm that it's the right flight. But to book it, all you need to do is select which aircraft you're flying it with, so the A320 or the 738. Again, different flights have different aircraft, so just pick from the list. We're going to fly the 738. And then you're going to select the aircraft registration. Any registration in the list will do, as long as it's the correct aircraft. So, now that you've selected your flight and what you're going to do, you're going to click the dispatch button. And what that does is it pops the flight into the dispatch center for you to fly. So if you're flying this flight straight away and you're ready to go, you want to click dispatch center, that pops up here. And this gives you all the information that you need. So, if at this point you're a SimBrief user and you subscribe to SimBrief, you can click the dispatch via SimBrief button, and this will generate this company flight into an OFP for you, and it'll show you all the information that you need. But if you don't use SimBrief, that's absolutely fine. You just don't click that button. So here it gives you all your flight information. It'll tell you your flight number, the aircraft, departure code and arrival code, your departure time and arrival time, roughly. But again, you know, these are just based on the system. You can fly whatever time you like. How many passengers and cargo you're going to be taking, how many crew are on board, approximate distance, this should be your name, your zero fuel weight, your maximum takeoff weight, maximum zero fuel weight, and minimum load weight. Routing here shows the route that you can take. So like I say, if you're using SimBrief, it'll generate a route, but if you don't, this is the route that you can put into your flight computer or put into your Microsoft Flight Sim. And finally, we've got some information about the winds, so you can have a look at what the winds are en route and see what they're like using Windy. And then down here, we have some departure information for Newcastle, which tells you all the weather and the forecast, and then some runway information, airport frequencies down the bottom, and again, the same for the arrival airport. So now you've done everything you need to do in the website. If you want to check that that's all worked, if you click the logo at the top, now that you've dispatched the flight, it'll be sitting here and it'll say your first name and it'll have your flight sitting here. So now you can jump into the flight simulator. So here we are, we've loaded up at Newcastle, we are in the 738 and we are ready to do our flight to Alicante. So to get going, there's just two things that you need to do. First of all, you need to load your flight in. So if you use SimBrief, you'd click from SimBrief. But if you've done it the way that we've just done it from the dispatch and you've booked through the website, you want to click from dispatch. What that'll do is that'll populate all the information that we need, okay? There's just two things that you need to type in manually. Now, you need to tell the system what your alternate airport is. Now, this is actually optional, so you can leave this box blank. But if you do have an alternate planned, then you would put in the 4-digit code for that. But for simplicity, we'll leave it blank because you don't need to put anything in. The important thing, however, you do need to put in is going to be your cruising altitude, okay? So in this box, you just need to tell us what altitude you're cruising at. So that tells the system to know when you're in the cruise, when you're climbing, and when you're descending. So for this flight, let's just say we're flying at 36,000 feet. So you type it in like this, 36,000, and that's all you need to type in, okay? Now, there's one last thing you need to do in the simulator before you can start the tracker, and it'll warn you. So if I go to do start flight now, you get a box saying, have you loaded the required fuel into your aircraft? Fueling must be completed. Well, I haven't loaded the fuel in, so I'm going to say no, and that's what we've got to do. So at this point, you can start setting up the flight in whatever way that you would do, okay? Like I say, there's plenty of videos on YouTube for the aircraft that you're flying, which will show you, dedicated tutorials. So I'm not going to go through the setup in this video. But what we're going to do just for this is we're going to load the fuel in the PMDG 737 here at Newcastle. So we can do that by going down to the FMC, go over to menu, FS Actions, fuel, and then let's put some fuel in, okay? So let's say for this flight, again, I haven't dispatched it, but we'll just say we're going to take 10,000 kilograms of fuel. What you would do is once the fuel's in, you would then open the FlyLumo tracking system, and then now you can click start flight. Has the fuel been loaded? Yes. And there you go. So once those buttons disappear, this means that your flight is successfully tracking. And at flight state at the bottom, it should say boarding. And that means that essentially it's all being tracked, all being sent to the website, and there is nothing else that you need to do with this. You just need to make sure you don't close it, you need to minimize it, and just leave it running in the background. So what you can do at this point is then you can set up your flight, and you do whatever you need to do to get your plane from A to B. The beauty of tracking on FlyLumo is you'll now appear on our website. So you'll notice already, without me doing anything on the homepage, you can see at Newcastle there's a plane appeared. And if I go over it, you can see Lumo, which is me, flying from Newcastle to Alicante, and it's got all the information there. And it says that we're boarding. So it's all worked successfully. Another page, and you'll see down here as well, if I refresh, it'll say in progress. Another place that you can see the flights in a little bit more detail is if you go to Operations Center and Live Flights. And then down here again, you've got the map with all the flights that are currently happening. And then down here, you've got a bar so you can see that we're currently boarding. And you can see the status of other flights there as well. So if we click us, we can see what we're up to. So what you would do is then you would fly your flight completely as you want to. So let's pretend that we've done a full flight and then we've arrived at Newcastle. What you would do is once you have arrived, you need to make sure to shut down your engines, okay? The end flight button won't appear until you've shut down your engines on arrival. So make sure you've done that. Once you have done that, you'll simply bring the FlightLumo tracker back up and then you would click end flight, okay? Like I say, once you arrive at the correct airport at your destination and you've turned your engines off, the end flight button appears. You'll click that, it'll ask you to confirm, and that submits your flight, and it's all completely done. If at any point, let's say right now, we've decided actually we don't want to fly this flight, or you get halfway through and you have to end a flight for whatever reason, you can simply click abort flight. It'll confirm that that is what you want to do, and that'll wipe the flight out of the system. It just means, though, that you won't get any hours for that flight. So, I hope that was helpful. I hope that has explained a little bit better just how to get started and how to log your flights. As always, any questions, please pop up to me, or you can also email our fabulous support team. The email address is support@flylumo.co.uk. Have a lovely day, and yeah, enjoy flying with us. Bye-bye.